Good evening, ladies and gents, and welcome to Zandvoort. Tonight we are located in the Netherlands, and we are joining you for round three of the PSGL Formula 6. A new season, new drivers, same commentators. Joining you from the commentary box, I am Salim Haddad alongside me, Speed Quinn, welcoming you to Zandvoort. Good evening, Speed. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing really good. Of course, the stream has started a little bit into the qualifying session, so just a little bit of a catch up for you guys. Joey, as you can see, is pole position, well, provisional pole. Marnix just under a tenth behind, and we have Sem, Leon, Isin Kompura, who I think this is his first race this season. We have Kart Racer. Then Coolman, the two Williams, is 6th and 7th. Then Bruno in 8th, Carl Scarrett in 9th, and Carlsberry in 10th, who seems to have had a little bit of a spin coming out of Tarzanbocht. So yeah, 10 of the drivers already setting their laps. Chris Hallett got disqualified from the session early on because he was blocking the pit lane, which is not good for him because round Zandvoort is very, very difficult to overtake.
Well, it is with the tight corners and the lack of long straights, as Carlsberry spinning another time, going on the sand in Sandvort. Uh, I do believe that Zandvoort is going to be a big advantage for Dutch drivers. Slinky being a Dutch driver, do you agree?
Yeah, definitely. All the Dutch drivers here are gonna want to do well at this track, even though it's not like real life. It's still a home race of sorts for the drivers. So people like Slinky and I believe Marnix, they're both Dutch drivers, so both of them will want to be doing well here.
So, ladies and gents, 12 minutes to go. It's Joey RC on provisional pole position with a 110.5. And as you can see, the drivers are very close to each other. So we are talking about 1/10 between the first and the second. Another tenth between the second and the third. The list goes on. We have someone in the 111s, two drivers, I mean, in the 111s, and Carlsberry in the 112.4, which was slightly off pace. The other drivers are trying to set their lap times, and Chris Hallett is out of the race, out of that qualifying session.
Yeah, I didn't actually get to catch what happened with Chris Hallett. I just saw they got disqualified for blocking the pit lane. But I did notice one Elliott puts in a 110.743, puts himself in P3 ahead of Sem 12. So someone who looked very, very promising in Spain and sort of dropped off a little bit in Bahrain, but he's going to be eager to bounce back here at Zandvoort.
I would like to say hello to our viewers watching us. Please let us know in the chats who are you supporting, where are you watching from, the usual.
Yeah, just to put into context of these guys' pace, myself, I've done some laps in a league race, well, for a league race in time trial for Zandvoort. I put in a 110.9, like a mid 110.9. That would put me, at the moment, about 11th. So there's 10 other drivers so far who are faster than me. That just puts into context how competitive and how fast this tier is right here.
Well, I do believe that the right setup has to be crucial in Zandvoort, especially if you want to talk about the tire pressure, knowing that Zandvoort is one of the lowest circuits in terms of elevation, in terms of sea level. It's very close to the sea. It's one of the lowest circuits, if not the lowest circuit.
Yeah, you can see from all of like the bankings on the banking like Leon's going through now, Oh, just saw Red Bull spin. I believe that was Carlsberry. He's not having a great session, but yeah, that's what I was saying. You can see on the edges of the tracks and through the banking, there is a lot of sand. And I just saw Joey. Think he might have been getting a little slipstream from Leon there, as he puts in an even quicker time. I think it was about half a tenth quicker. So still got that gap to Marnix, even though it is a lot closer. And even Coolman is only 4 thousandths behind Marnix, so looks like a free car fight for pole at the moment.
Well, we've got Tom Roberts in the chat saying Joey for the pole. He got that Quali Riz. You know, the newest generation always surprise me with new terms. Apparently, Riz means someone who is decent with women, but in this context, it's someone who is decent with pace.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, we've got a lot of drivers in the 110.8s, and one of them who was in the 110.8 is now in the 110.5s, joining his Alfa Romeo teammate on the provisional front row. So this could be a very good race for the two Alfa Romeos. But we've seen in the past, Joey, the past two races, has struggled with incidents and, well, spinning out. So hopefully, it looks like this is a track he's more confident and more well prepared for. So hopefully himself and Leon can have a good race.
Well, as a team manager, you would love to see your drivers outperforming everyone else, seeing them in 1 and 2. That would bring joy to the team and would bring points to the Constructors' Championship. Oh.
But then again, Carter Racer goes 9 thousandths of a second faster than Joey RC. The Kart Racer was one of the people who he's had a fairly good start to this season, so he's got to be hoping to continue this.
Well, don't forget that we are still...
712.
Wow.
712 puts in a 110.3. And yeah, it looks like the track has really ramped up from the start of the session.
Well, I was saying, don't forget that we are still... This is still the third race of the season, so we might still have a lot of surprises in terms of performances. Because... Oh, whoa. Kart Racer was blocked by the Haas. I don't know if you were able to see this. See that the
I think it might... I think this was an in-lap for him, so it wouldn't have really mattered if he was blocked because he's going to be coming into the pits now.
Well, I was saying that a driver could have one bad race, two bad races. This is the third race of the season. Anything can go. We are in for a surprise for today's race.
Yeah, it does. Just looking up at the clouds, it seems to be getting darker. Seems to be more cloud coverage, even though the sun is still out. Seems like there are dark clouds just looming around, and just as you were talking, Slinky had crossed the line.
Wow.
And he's now in P2. And as well, Link's actually crossed the line as well. He's just coming around the final corner, but he put in a 110.5.
That's a fantastic...
And Nico as well. Nico as well had crossed the line and put in a 110.505. So we've got 4th, 5th and 6th separated by 8 thousandths of a second.
I was saying that was a fantastic lap by Slinky with his orange helmet as a tribute to the Dutch fans. Tribute to the Netherlands, of course. And speaking of the clouds, well, I wouldn't want to make them cry. I wouldn't want to make them sad because once those tears drop, the track is going to be wet and it's going to be a big mess for all of the drivers. No one's going to be able to improve their laps any further.
Yeah, I'm not too sure on what the weather's going to be like for the race. So, yeah, I'm just going to try and find out what the weather's going to be like for the race.
So with 4 minutes to go, it's still Sam on provisional pole position with a 110.3. So if you want to start in first place, you got to beat that lap time. At the moment, we only have 3 cars out. It's one Elliott of the Red Bull. We have Compura of the McLaren and El Pilotor of the Alpha Tauri. Track is becoming a bit quiet. One Elliott going back to the pits.
We do have one of the Alfa Romeos who's just left the pits. That is Joey, so he's going to be one of the first people to set the last quali run times. And in this situation, you really want to be the last person to set their lap. Although if you're the first person, you can set a benchmark for everyone to hit. And if it's a really good lap, then people are going to struggle.
Seems that the Alfa Romeo of Joey is trying to follow El Pilotor. Maybe he would receive some slipstream on the main straight from him. However, on the other corners, he's going to be receiving dirty air. And not to mention
that is an issue.
And not to mention that El Pilotor might be heading to the pits because he
he did complete his lap, so he's going to be heading into the pits, and Joey has backed off from him since. And if you want to take us through Joey's lap, then we can go ahead.
Okay, taxi Joey, here we go. Turn 1 on Transportbocht, staying on 4th gear, into 5th, into 6th. That was a very tight racing line. He misses the apex on turn 2 in Hugen in Gerlachtsbocht. Heading into turn 4 and 5, Hunzeruk.
Oh, he's backed off. Yeah, he's backed off of his lap. He wasn't happy with how it went, so he's just going to be slowing down and he's going to be going in for another lap, I assume.
Maybe his missed apex on turn 2 made him lose some time. So he had another thought about it.
It does look like he's got enough fuel, and he is regenerating that ERS because he did back out early enough. So he has got about just below 100%. I believe it's about 98% ERS. So it's going to have enough to complete another lap. But I'm just going to hop on board with Kart Racer, as he's going to be going around to do another lap.
He missed the apex in turn 1.
Yeah, he did. But Joey is improving. It is a purple sector 1 from Joey, even though it was only 1300ths of a second quicker than his last one. So I'm just going to stick on board with Joey and just see how much he can improve through the second sector as well. Oh, he goes for a spin on the exit.
Commentator's curse.
Well, it looks like it won't be a pole position here for Joey, as there is a Haas going to cross the line. Nicholas Boiter, I think he's just starting a lap. There's an Alpha Tauri, which was El Pilotor. I think he's just starting another lap. Then we've got Kart Racer. Come on. He doesn't. He actually backed off. He actually backed off just before he got to the line. That's interesting.
Team orders? I doubt. Okay, so the
Maciej Lutiński did improve, but it's only 18th at the moment. We have one Elliott going into the pits. We have Nico improving by half a tenth into P4. The other Aston Martin of Bruno is going into the pits. The Haas of Nicholas Boyter goes up to 13th. We have El Pilotor in the pits.
You know, I've noticed
And
something
Carlsberry. Let's have a look at Carlsberry.
with
See what Carlsberry can do.
with Maciej Lutiński improving his lap time. The gap between the first driver and the last driver is 1 second, and even a little bit less.
Yeah. That is crazy. The fact that you got a whole grid separated by a second.
Less than a second. Slightly less than a second. This is it. So, ladies and gents, that was it for today's qualifying session. It's going to be Sam, the Dutch driver, with the orange McLaren, starting from pole position in his home country of the Netherlands. In second place, also a Dutch driver by the name of Slinky, very famous from Formula 8. In third, it's going to be El Pilotor, followed by Nico, kart racer, starting from fifth. Behind him, Lynx, Joey RC, Marnix, it's Cool Man, Leon. Outside of the top 10, could you please take us through them?
Yep. So we got one Elliott in 11th, then Carl Scarrett, Nicholas Boyter in 13th, Trust Run in 14th, Compura in 15th, then Bruno, Thayers, Maciej Lutiński, Carlsberry, and Chris Hallett, who got disqualified.
Ladies and gents, now you have time to run to the kitchen, grab yourselves your favorite snacks and drinks, because after that we are going to be racing in Zandvoort. And if you take a look at the sky, it doesn't look too good to me.
Yeah, it does. It does look like it's very dark and gloomy in the skies. I could just hope for all the drivers that it's gonna stay dry, because going around this track in the wet is not a fun experience.
I can imagine. And I don't want to be the one to upset the skies. So now we are getting ready for the start of the race in Zandvoort. As usual, we won't have any formation laps. We are just waiting for the players to finalize their strategies.
Oh, there we go. There's the countdown.
It's the final
So
countdown.
So we have 4, 5 red lights. And it's underway. Sam gets a decent start, as well as El Pilotor goes round the outside, and Slinky is getting caught out by everyone. Slinky is jostling for position with Kart Racer, and he ends up slotting behind Kart Racer. And Slinky has dropped all the way down to P4. Not a great start for him. Marnix gets a 5-second penalty for a severe collision with Nico. Chris Hallett, meanwhile, is going slow. And there is a safety car out already.
Wow. We haven't even started. Well, I was able to spot its cool man spinning around, losing so many positions. Let's take a look at how many positions in specific he lost. Oh, 6 places. He went 6 places down.
Yeah, there's only 3 drivers on the whole grid that kept the position that they qualified in. And that's first with Sam, 11th with Elliot, and Chris Hallett in last.
Well, you would be proud for not changing your positions, but not if you were last.
Yeah, we've got a mixture of people who have gained positions and lost positions. It's like the majority of people on the grid have gained a position. Apart from the likes of Slinky, who dropped from 2nd to 4th. Nico dropped from 4th to 6th. Joey dropped from 7th to 9th. And Coolman from 9th to 15th. Nicholas Boyter from 13th to 16th. And we have the bottom 3 drivers all coming into the pits already. Isan Kompura. Actually, Chris Hallett is... Yeah, all 3 of them pit. Chris Hallett actually came out ahead. Chris Hallett came out ahead.
And he went in for softs.
Yeah.
That's a big bet.
It's a weird strategy, cool. Maybe he's just going for soft hard?
Or maybe he's betting for another safety car to save him.
Maybe, but the one-stop strategy around here is usually a medium hard. With 36 laps, you're looking to do about 20 laps on the hards and maybe 16 on the mediums. So, if he wants to get to a hard stint, really the most laps you can do on the hards around here is maybe 22 laps, 21, 22 laps. So Chris Hallett would have to take these to at least, I'd say, lap 15. Which, the longer the safety car goes on, the better chance he has of that happening. But I've got a feeling that it's going to be coming in at the end of this next lap.
But don't forget that this track is very harsh on the tires.
No. Chris Hallett is actually coming in again.
What?
Maybe it was a mistake to put the softs on.
Maybe he pressed the wrong button.
He's putting on the hards now.
He maybe pressed the wrong button. Well, as long as the safety car is out, you can always keep on fixing your mistakes and going to the pit, and you can go to the pits as many times as you want and try to rejoin the rest of the field. But of course, you need to come up with a different strategy, with a brilliant one, if you want to take advantage of the safety car. So, ladies and gents, we are currently on the 3rd lap of the race. It's still Sam leading the race. And we have had a safety car on the lap opener, which maybe ruined the fun, ruined the overtaking fun. And
what's happened to Joey? He had a collision with Kyle.
I've lost 2 positions.
He had a collision. It doesn't look like he's got any damage. It doesn't look like Carl's got any damage.
And the safety car will be in this lap.
Yeah, just going to go on board with Sam for this restart. He is on the hard tyres. He looks like he's going to be going for a hard medium. So when does he decide to go? And he's gone. El Pilotor doesn't really get caught out, but Kart Racer is making the most of it. El Pilotor defends the inside, opening the door on the outside, but Kart Racer is not able to capitalize, and Slinky has lost the position to Lynx, and now is in P5. So again, it's not looking great for Slinky. The hard tyres were
Joey.
probably cold.
Joey.
And that is Joey.
In the grass.
Doesn't look like he's had any damage.
Was playing lawn mowing simulator instead of Formula 1 on the grass. Now he's 7 seconds behind the field.
He's doing a Valtteri Bottas simulator.
And Slinky loses another position yet. Drops down to P6. He yields the 5th position to Marnix of the Haas driver. Of the Haas.
But of course, Marnix does already have a 5-second penalty. So, unless he serves it under a pit stop, it will be taken off at the end of his race time.
Well, if you take a look at the top 10 drivers, Marnix might have the slight advantage for having the fresher, the softer compound, which is the mediums, compared to the hards of most of the drivers in the top 10.
Yeah, it will give him an advantage. But by the time he comes in to switch to the hard tyres of everyone else are just they're gonna be they're gonna be at peak performance. So they won't be coming in for another at least 4 or 5 laps after Marnix does. And they're still going to have plenty of pace in them when Marnix pits, so if he's hoping to get an undercut done, then it might actually not happen. But Marnix right side by side with Lynx, and he makes it look easy.
That was a full send by Marnix. And he's eyeing Kart Racer, his next target.
Yeah, these medium tyres for Marnix are really paying off and really giving him the pace that he needs to make some moves for the time being. And yeah, he's just gonna... What he needs is to push his way through and just try and get up to, or even as close to Sem as he can. Because once he does that, maybe an undercut could work. But knowing how the hard tyres are, once Marnix pits in, the hards are going to be still very quick. And it won't drop off until at least 2 laps before you pit, if you go for the maximum tyre life.
And now we have just started lap 7 of the race. We can see the DRS is enabled. And we can see there's a giant train of cars that starts from P1 up until P15. The gap between every driver and the driver behind is less than a second, so it's safe to say that it's a train of cars. With Marnix getting a purple Sector 1. Might be the fastest driver on the track at the moment. Only 0.2 of the second separating him from the Williams of Kart Racer. Heading now into a DRS zone. Might help him to stay within that second. He was very late on the brakes. He missed his apex. Lost 0.2 here.
Yeah, just saw one Elliott dive down the inside of Bruno, and now he finds himself in P10, but Bruno goes down the inside. Once again, one Elliott looks for a switchback, but he cannot do it. Chris Hallett does set the fastest lap of the race from P16, so good to see that he's still pushing even with the start that he's had and even the qualifying he's had. And yeah, this DRS train all the way back to Isin Kompura is... I've never actually seen anything like this on this game. Never seen a DRS train from 1st to 15th. Hopefully, well, that might change once we have our first set of pit stops.
Oh, contact! Contact between the Alpine of Trust Run and Coleman. Ay. I was able
Chris
to see...
Chris Hallett taking full advantage of that situation. He's jumped himself up into 12th, and Carlsberry as well finds himself in P12. So it's good from them. Carlsberry almost spins there. And I think that may have given Chris DRS. It has. He's just going to be closing up on Carlsberry at the moment. There is fight in between Bruno and Leon, but Leon looks like he's still out ahead. He cuts the curb on the inside of the banking there. It's not something you really want to do. You want to take a line through the middle of the banking and then rise up the banking on exit. And yeah, Leon is actually teetering on the edge of DRS at the moment. He's exactly on a second behind. He's going to be pushing like mad to try and get into that 1 second margin that he needs for the DRS. Don't think he has it here. No, he doesn't. But he is actually closing up on Nico. He does get a purple sector too, so he is pushing. He wants to stay within this DRS, and barring a big issue here at the last 2 corners of the lap, I think he will keep it. And he does. So good work from Leon to pull him back, close up to Nico, and yeah, he's staying in this DRS train for now.
Well, between the contact of It's Coolman and Trust Run, I was able to see some debris flying from their cars. But if you take a look at their cars, they seem to remain in one piece. So I don't know if this is a bug from the game. So
yeah, I'm really not too sure. But Chris Hallett actually finds his way past Carlsberry. And he is sticking close behind Chris Hallett, but it seems like Chris Hallett has got the move done. And it was a great move from Chris Hallett. He finds himself 1 place closer to the points, but he's still 2.5 seconds behind Kyle Scarrett.
So we have nearly finished 1/3 of the race. We are currently on the 10th lap of the race. It's Sam who is still leading, less than a second behind El Pilotor, followed by Kart Racer.
Oh, Nico had a very, very bad exit going into the last corner. And while Leon took full advantage of it, he sets the fastest lap of the race while doing so. But he made up the all-important position on Nico to find himself in P7, and now the 2 Aston Martins are, well, next to each other on track. They are one in front of the other, and it's going to be very interesting to see the dynamic between these two, because Bruno is on the mediums, but they are 10 laps old, the same age as Nico's hard, so whether they just decide to fight it out or if Bruno is just going to stick behind knowing that he's going to be pitting soon. Not too sure what's going to happen.
So on board now with Marnix, 3/10 behind Kart Racer. At some point he was only 1/10 behind him. Things might change on the main straight as we are heading now on turn 14 of the Arie Luyendijk Bocht. With the DRS enabled, he's very low on battery charge. Oh, 3%. I think he's gonna struggle. And there's a...
But yeah, Link's behind him, puts in the fastest lap, and he's going down the inside. He gets too much on the curb, I think. Maybe that was a bit of Marnik squeezing him to the inside.
That was a wonderful save from Lynx.
Yeah, it was a great save there from Lynx, but I'm not too sure if that was Manic squeezing him and forcing him onto the curb, or if Lynx wanted to take as tight a line as possible to try and get to the exit of the corner first. Not too sure.
So so far we are enjoying the battles of these drivers. Uh, it's a very active race. It's one of the smallest circuits. We're talking about 110, 111 to complete a lap, and the drivers are very close to each other. So we are packed with a lot of action, and we are only in lap 12.
Yeah, it is quite a short circuit, but you have to remember there's very few heavy braking zones on this track. If I counted, there's only really one heavy braking zone when you go through the DRS zone in Sector 2, right at the end of the corner there. That's the only corner I class as a heavy braking zone, not even Turn 1, because you can carry a lot of momentum through Tarzanbocht. So yeah, the only heavy braking zone that I count on this track is at the end of the DRS straight in Sector 2. And yeah, it's a very fast, high-flowing track. And yeah, it doesn't really promote amazing side-by-side racing every lap, but it's great for if you have the right strategy. If you pit right at the right time, you can see yourself jump up a few positions.
Well, you were saying about the heavy braking on turn 1. I think you should do a lot of trail braking. As I'm on board now with Trust Run with the DRS enabled, he sends it to the inside of the Mercedes. They're still side by side. The Mercedes is defending. He's now going round the outside line. They make contact, and he's off track. Ay, 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 ay. One overtaking move turned out to be a total disaster for Trust Run as he drops down to last position. That's sad for him.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he's got any wing damage, although no, he's still out on track. So yeah, it wasn't great for Maciej Lutiński and Trust Run. Yeah, it wasn't great for those two, but hopefully Trust Run can get his race back, as I do believe that he has not pitted yet. There's only 3 drivers who have pitted: Chris Haller, Isin Kompura and Carlsberry, the only 3 stoppers at the moment, and we're just past halfway through the race. So, yes. Didn't really... Well, actually, no, we're not halfway through. We're just over a third of the way through the race. My apologies. We've got halfway through at around lap 18.
Well, taking a look at the chats, we have Michael Lütke. I believe that's a German name. He's saying GH. I don't know if he's supporting someone. And we have Anza97 supporting Kompura. Let's go, Kompura.
You just see Trust Run getting onto the back of ART Tejas. This is trying to make the outside line work. Still going side by side, the two of them. This is great racing. Contact between the two, a little bit of wheel banging. And yeah, Trust Run gets the move done. Gets ahead of ART Tejas. And now in P19, we see the two Aston Martins fighting with Bruno and Nico. And while Bruno just gets past, finds himself in P8. But Nico is breathing down his neck, and Bruno, in all this fighting, has lost out on DRS from Neon. And this is a chance for his teammate Nico to try and get the move done, although Bruno comes into the pits. Bruno is the first pitter, aside from Chris Hallett, Kumpera and Carlsberry. It looks like it may be coming out between Maciej Lutiński and Trust Run. Yeah, it looks like he is. So now that might start a chain reaction of everyone pitting because they'll want to cover off a potential undercut from Bruno.
But 15 laps on hards is not too much. I think they can carry on. They can do some extra laps, more.
Yeah,
Maybe up
definitely.
to 20 or 25.
Yeah, I think now is the time for the medium runners, so people like Marnix and Isin Kompura to be pitting in. Maybe do 2 more laps, 1 or 2 more laps for Isin, but Marnix maybe start to look to pit. Yeah, Kart Racer pits in as well as Marnix. Keep an eye on Isin Kompura. He stays out, but Marnix has got that 5-second penalty to serve. So he's going to be held in the pits for 5 seconds before they even touch the tyres. And there we go. Change tyres. He's going to find himself actually behind Bruno and even behind Trust Run.
That's not good.
So yeah, that 5 seconds as he has a little bit of wheel spin on the exit of the pits. But yeah, he's going to find it quite difficult to actually catch up and overtake Bruno, I reckon. And Bruno, well, do believe the two Aston Martins were P7 and 8. So with Marnix being behind Bruno at the moment and 4 seconds behind him, he's gonna find himself nearly out of the points once everyone's done their stops, as El Pilotor is still putting in the fastest laps. I believe Lynx is in the pits now. So just keep an eye on Lynx and just see where he comes out. But Sam is under immense pressure from El Pilotor before getting into the banked corner. He was all over the back of Sam.
Well, in the midst of all of this fighting, Slinky jumps to P3, which is good for him. 1.4 seconds behind El Pilotor. We have a yellow flags. Who is this?
Oh, safety car.
I think it was Marnix spinning, but was it worth it for a safety car? Oh, he lost his front wing.
Gonna check. Yeah, he's lost his front wing. That's disaster for Marnix. Because he was banking on going on these hards all the way to the end, and now he's going to have to pit and change his tyres unless he pits twice under the safety car and gets these hards back on.
Was the safety car worth it?
Not too sure.
And to the pits goes Sam of the McLaren. Same thing for
yeah, all of 5 second penalty for Sam.
That is going to leave a mark.
Yeah, really, really is. And all of these people who pitted before the safety car are going to be losing out. So Bruno might not even jump anyone, and he's going to be nowhere near his teammate Nico. I really don't think he's going to be anywhere near him. But Bruno does jump up past Carl Scarrett into P9, but that's as high as he's going to get. So it's not too far away from Nico, but yeah, it wasn't great. The fact that he pitted just 2 or 3 laps before the safety car came up.
And we have Marnix changing his front wing and going on softs. That's strange a bit. I don't reckon you can do 17 laps on softs. That would be suicidal. Unless he's betting
I think at the end of this lap he's going to be pitting again and get those hards back on.
That's really weird.
I think.
Well,
yeah, because when you change your front wing, you have to change your tyres. you can't just stay on the same set of tyres when you pit. You have to change them. So I reckon he's going to be pitting in again and getting those hards back on, which in the long run is going to, well, in the short term, it's going to be losing him time, but he's going to be on a better tyre than, well, the softs at this moment.
Well, since we have a safety car now, I would like to ask you a question about something that happened for the past week in the world of Formula One. It was very controversial, and people had different opinions about it. When Haas announced that they have signed Nico Hülkenberg, some people were very happy. Some people were like, "Ah, nah, he's just old. Let's give the young generation a chance. Like he's taking a place of young drivers." Personally, I was very happy to see Nico Hülkenberg. I probably had some tears in my eyes, and I think that he might be the right man for this job, especially in a team like Haas, and he deserves to get that podium. Maybe I doubt that Haas are going to be able to get that podium, but being a driver for Haas, I think it suits Nico Hülkenberg best because if you're going to be an amateur driver, driving for the leader of the race, whoa, Sam spun behind the safety car and lost 3 positions, and he's gaining them back. Is he allowed to take them back?
I don't think so.
That was a big mistake. Well, let me ask you. I have been talking a lot. Do you favor having Nico Hülkenberg back in Haas, or would you rather have a rookie driver?
I think, first of all, I think it's good to have Nico back, but I would rather have someone in there that you can have a long-term future with, someone who you can build your team around in the future, rather than having 2 experienced people. Yeah, in the long run, it gives you good feedback on the car, but you got no one to build your team around. There's El Pilotor has a great safety car restart, and Sam getting very close to getting past Slinky. He has the outside line, trying to make it stick. Round the outside, it looks like it is a favourable race line, but it still goes side by side. Nearly contacts between the two, but Sam does stay ahead of Slinky, and now Sam is going to be trying to close up on El Pilotor as quick as he can. But with that 5 seconds of penalties, he's going to find it very difficult to even stay up in the points at this moment in time.
Well, a driver that we owe. Yellow flag.
That's Marnix.
A driver that we haven't heard the name a lot today is Nicolas Boyta, currently in 15th place with the Haas.
Nicolas Boyta has been having a very quiet race so far. As El Pilotor puts in the fastest lap of 1:12.8. And that is a blistering pace set by El Pilotor.
You know, we have, there's an Arabic saying that says, the champion's mistake has a 1,000 time impact. And this is the mistake that Sam did behind the safety car, and it could have cost him the race win. As he dropped down to 2nd place. We have another yellow flag, and it's Marnix. Marnix retires from the session. He retires in the middle of the track. Is this gonna be the cause of another safety car? We don't know yet.
It doesn't look like. Doesn't look like it.
No, it's not. So El Pilotor is leading the race. There's a 1.9 second gap between him and Sam. Currently on the 22nd lap of the race, and he's going to be starting the 23rd lap of the race. And the DRS has just been enabled, which is going to help the drivers to overtake each other. I'm currently now on board with Nico, who is only 3 tenths behind the Ferrari of Lynx. So we have a giant DRS train from the second driver, from Sam till P18, Joey. And up till the end, because Thois, who is last, is now less than a second behind Joey RC. Still on board with Nico of the Aston Martin. The DRS is going to be enabled now. Taking a look at all of these drivers. This is one Elliott with the orange helmet. As a tribute to the Netherlands, of course.
It is the fish helmet for one Elliott.
It's in the podium pass, is it?
Yeah.
Rich kids.
The more it stays like this, the worse it's gonna be. Worse it's gonna be for Sam. Because at the moment, with the 5-second penalty he has, he's gonna be dropping down to P10.
Ay, ay, ay. But you know, he's gaining up to Sam. He was able to gain at least half a second.
Yeah, it's been very good. But yeah, that 5-second penalty has basically prevented him from getting a chance at a victory here.
Sends it to the inside, still side by side with Kyle Scarrett. As they're still together, heading now. Oh, he had to back out. You know, sometimes it's very wise and very courageous to back out, even though it might look like a coward move on TV. But courage is not always by action. It's action and brain at the same time. So it's better to back out instead of crashing and ending your race. And boy, what a race is this Chris Hallett having today. He started last, and look at him now. He's in 11th place, challenging for the 10th place for 1 point.
Yeah, and he's going to have to push on because Carl Scarrett hasn't got DRS of Bruno ahead, but Chris Hallett has got the DRS of Kyle Scarrett. So now he's just going to be pushing as hard as he can. His ERS is low. Carl Scarrett's ERS is low as well. But it looks like Chris Hallett has got a very, very good exit. Carl Scarrett defends the inside. Chris Hallett then jinks out to the outside. The favourable racing line, might I add. It looks like he's got the move done. Or he thinks he has. But yeah, 2 tenths behind, 3 tenths behind now. And Chris Hallett has made up the position. And looking at the front, Sam is within a second of El Pilotor, and he's dropped Slinky to be just outside of the DRS. But Slinky is coming back, he is reeling him in, and Sam is actually dropping back.
Sam is now less than a second behind El Pilotor, which means he's going to be receiving DRS. I don't think it's going to be enough for him to overtake El Pilotor.
I think Slinky might just have got DRS. Yeah, he did. He just about got DRS on the back of Sam, but he's actually losing quite a lot of time to Sam. He actually lost about a tenth going down the straight, even though both of them had DRS, so it's not great.
Uh-oh.
It says yellow flags. There's been a huge incident.
3 cars
It
involved?
looks like Isin Compura resets the track. That will be, not sure what the rules are on resetting the track in this league, but
3 cars were involved in this crash,
yeah.
if not 4.
Yeah, it looks like there was Carlsberry, Carl Scarrett, and Isin Compura involved in that turn 1 crash, and it may force some people into pitting. Like if you are SEM 12, maybe you pit to get rid of that 5-second penalty, and you're going to have about 7, maybe 6 laps to try and make up that time that you lose.
Quinn, can I ask you, do you think that the softs can carry on for 10 laps?
It depends, it really does. But Sam actually decides not to pit in. If they are fresh, new, soft tyres, I think there's every possibility they could go to the end of the race if you pit under this safety car. There is someone pitting it, I think that's Coolman, who's decided to pit. And that is Joey as well as Carlsberry. You see Carl Scarrett staying out and Isin Compura stay out.
Yes, you see.
As well.
Softs. Some drivers are going in for softs. Joey RC, Carlsberry, and it's Coolman. These drivers are going to have the upper hand now.
Yeah, but the only problem now is that they're going to be at the back of the field. And with what's been happening earlier in this race and how close people have been sticking to each other, those 3 who've just pitted for softs are going to find it very, very difficult to get past anyone in the last remaining race laps.
But I find it very strange that Sam is still out. I mean, how else are you going to get rid of that penalty?
Yeah, it's just going to come off his time at the end of the race. And yeah, that could drop him down a lot of positions and outside of the points.
Well, returning to our topic that we were talking about the Haas and having 2 experienced drivers instead of rookies, I personally think that having a rookie driver in a team like Haas might be the end of his career. Like, you might ruin his career and his future if you put him in a team like Haas. Do you agree on this statement? Well, there is George
I
Russell
can see
as an exception.
I can see where you're coming from, because if you're in a car that isn't the best, where if it's in the lower half of the grid, the bottom half of the grid, and you're a rookie and you can't really show your talents, then all the other teams might disregard your talents, and well, you might not be able to have a chance at a top half team if you're not in a car that's capable of even like getting points finishes.
But George Russell was an exception. He was in the slowest team, yet he was able to stand out and to get a pole position.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think maybe it was more to do with the fact that, yes, the Williams was not a good car at all. But because George had been there so long, he knew what he needed to do to get the most out of it, and he really tailored his driving style to getting the most out of that Williams car. So here we go, the safety car is in this lap. As you can see, no more yellow flags on the track, and the safety car is just coming up to the last. The safety car's just going around the last corner, and Pilotor hasn't even made it to the penultimate corner.
Something they teach us in software development: turn your weakness into a feature. This is what George Russell did in Williams. As it's going to be green flag, we resume racing. It's a superb start from Sam. Round the outside line, he's not able to overtake El Pilotor. Nice defense from El Pilotor.
Yeah, that's really good defense from El Pilotor. Just squeezed Sam ever so slightly on the exit. Carl Scarrett has left the session.
Uh-oh.
His car is still going round. He is in AI mode, but he left the session. It was very interesting to see. But yeah, Sam has a little bit of a moment on the exit there.
Take a look at Nico. On board with Nico, trying to challenge the Ferrari of Lynx. Well, it's going to be a bit difficult for him to do any overtaking moves with no DRS. He's using his ERS once again. But Lynx...
Yeah, 6 laps of racing to go here. And it's still looking like it's anyone's race. Of course, Sam is not in DRS range of El Pilotor. And he's sort of doing El Pilotor a favour here because he's keeping the likes of Slinky and Leon and Kart Racer all behind him, so they can't attack El Pilotor.
I would like to interrupt you and say that was a breathtaking overtake from Carlsberry on turn. I believe that was turn. Holding the track in the wrong way. Turn 3. Around the outside, he was able to overtake the McLaren of Compura. Just wow.
Oh, saw a bit of wheel banging. Chris Hallett going round the inside of Bruno. Chris Hallett finds himself in 9th position now. He's really pushing on. He is within a second of 1 Elliott, but DRS has just been enabled. So we'll be getting it in a second DRS zone. Carl Scarrett finds himself 22 seconds. Yeah, you heard that right. 22 seconds behind Joey RC. So Carl Scarrett's race looks to be over at this point. But yeah, Chris Hallett has had an amazing recovery drive and he's on the medium tyres, which their life at the moment is 13 laps, the same as pretty much all the medium runners around him, barring Lynx, Car Racer, Tayers, and Carl Scarrett, who's just come out of the pits. It's Coolman and Carlsberry, both soft runners. It looks like they have collided and both of them have spun out in the last 5 laps of this race. Joey RC gets past Isin Compura and Chris Hallett goes past 1 Elliott, so does Bruno. So 1 Elliott must have had a big mistake going out of the penultimate corner for both cars to overtake Nicholas Boita. He might want to get on the action here. He's getting very close to the back of 1 Elliott.
Carlsberry is
Carlsberry out. Carlsberry has retired in the pits,
Coolman
and so has Coolman. It's unfortunate to see because you want to see as many people on the grid finish a race as you can.
Same thing for Carl
Scarrett. Carl Scarrett comes into the pits.
No, he's pitting. I thought he was going to retire as well.
He's on the soft tyres now, so maybe he's looking to try and take away this fastest lap. The current holder of the fastest lap is Joey RC with a 1:12.2, so Kyle Scarrett may be looking to try and take that away, and it's not really any use for Joey at the moment because, well, he's not in the top 10, so he won't be scoring any points from this fastest lap.
Taking a look at the positional changes, it's Chris Hallett, the driver who won the most positions with 12 positions, starting from last, and he's currently in 8th place. That's just wonderful.
Yeah, it's been an amazing race so far for Chris Hallett. And now he's just got to be pushing as much as he can to try and close up even further. I think Nico might be the limit though.
And it's gonna be very sad for Sam. That 5-second penalty.
So 1.5 seconds is the gap between
Joey
Chris
RC.
Hallett and Nico. Joey RC has spun and he's DNF'd from the session. Doesn't look like there'll be a safety car, so it'll come in literally at the end of this lap.
Currently on board with
So we're on
Tracer with the DRS enabled, getting very close to the Alfa Romeo of Leon. It's too close yet too far.
Yeah, it looked like he maybe tried to go for a little late lunge, but Leon wasn't having any of it and had already sufficiently defended the inside. And even with Sam finishing second on track, he would finish in 9th behind Bruno.
You know, that's painful.
If it were to stay like this.
That's painful.
Yeah, it really is painful. I did wish that Sam would come in and get that penalty removed, even though it would have lost time, would have gained it all back just in the next 3 or 4 laps.
And now, ladies and gents, El Pilotor is going to be starting the last lap of the race. Sam with the DRS enabled. Oh, he is on 0 ERS, trying to challenge El Pilotor. Round the outside he goes. Is he going to be through?
Just don't do anything silly, guys.
Through he goes.
And that's Bruno. Bruno's round. Bruno's dropped all the way back to 14th. It's so disappointing. And while now, Sam would finish in 7th place. If it were to finish like this, Sam would finish 7th. A top 3 would be El Pilotor, Slinky and Leon. Unless anything can change, because Leon is getting dangerously close to Slinky. Joey RC has left the session. It's disappointing to see that he crashed out. And there's only one man that we need to be watching at this moment, and it is Sam 12. He does cross the line as the winner on track, but it is El Pilotor who wins after a 5-second penalty for Sam. Slinky in P2, Leon in P3, Kart Racer in P4, Lynx in P5, Nico P6, Sam, as we said before, in P7, Chris Hallett, an amazing recovery drive from him to finish P8, One Elliott in P9, Nicholas Boyter rounds off the points paying positions in P10, and that's the top 10.
You know, it's very sad for Sam to finish in 7th place, and it's exactly where you calculated it, from 1st to 7th. And Chris Hallett is the driver of the day, no doubt about that.
Yes, from getting disqualified in the qualifying session to the safety cars really playing into his hands and getting into the points, scoring yourself, well, I think it's 3 points is a very good day. It's a very, very good day. And it's a good day for the AlphaTauris as well, the only team to actually have a double points finish this race. It's very interesting to see. And something even more interesting is the fact that the person who was on pole and the person who finished the person who started pole and the person who started last finished next to each other on the track.
Yeah, that is a strange one. So champagne showers in Zandvoort. And ladies and gents, it's the Spanish driver El Pilotor who wins in Zandvoort in second place, and is in his home country. It's Slinky. Brilliant drive from him today. In third, it was Leon. Fourth, Kart Racer. Lynx in fifth, and outside of the top five, we have Nico. Sam, who was very, very unfortunate, finished first. However, he is seventh. Chris Hallat in eighth. Brilliant drive from him. One Elliott ninth. Nicolas Boita in 10th place. Outside of the top 10, could you please carry on?
Yeah, so we have Trust Run in 11th, then Maciej Ladiński in 12th, Bruno in 13th, IRT Tejas in 14th, Isin Kompura in 15th, then we have Carl Scarrett, Joey RC, Coolman, Carlsberry and Marnix all did not finish.
Well, we have reached the end of the stream. We would like to thank you, ladies and gents, for sticking by till the end, and we hope to see you next week, same time, same place. Don't go anywhere. This is Salim Haddad and Speed Quinn kissing you good night.